Hi, everybody. I just want to share a few words with you today about the subject of hope. A lot of this comes from a recent Give Him 15 installment from Dutch Sheets, and it just really inspired me, and it reminded me of a few things that God has spoken to me about the subject of hope over the years. So just want to share this with you. It says, never underestimate the power of hope. The Old Testament word for hope has the connotation of a cord. It's used as an attachment. The New Testament calls it the anchor of our soul in Hebrews 6:19. Hope is a lifeline, a stabilizer. In 1965, listen to this story. In 1965, during a family reunion in Florida, a grandmother awoke everybody in the house at 1 a.m. and she issued some orders for them to all get empty Coca-Cola bottles, corks, and paper. She said, "I've received a message from God. People must hear this word." She wrote verses on the paper while the grandchildren bottled and corked them up. Then everyone deposited over 200 bottles into the surf at Cocoa Beach. People contacted and thanked her for the scriptures over the years. She died in November of 1974. And then the next month, the last letter finally arrived. It read this way. It said, "Dear Mrs. Gauss, I'm writing this letter by candlelight. We no longer have electricity on the farm. My husband was killed in the fall when the tractor overturned on him. He left 11 young children and me behind. The bank is foreclosing. There's only one loaf of bread left. There's snow on the ground, and Christmas is 2 weeks away. I prayed for forgiveness before I went down to drown myself. The river has been frozen over for a few weeks, so I didn't think it would take very long. When I broke the ice, a Coke bottle floated up to the top. I opened it, and with tears and trembling hands, I read about hope." Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 4 says, "But for him who is joined to all the living, there is hope. For a living dog is better than a dead lion." You went on to reference other scriptures, Hebrews 7:19 and Hebrews 6:18, John 3:3. I came home and I read my Bible, and now I'm thanking God for the message. I'm going to make it now. Please pray for us, but we're all right. May God bless you and yours from a farm in Ohio. How did this life-saving Coke bottle make a 9-year journey all the way from Cocoa Beach, Florida to a river in Ohio? Never mind just any old river, the right farm, the right time. I can almost hear the Mrs. Gauss Coke bottle angel patrol heaving a huge sigh of relief when the last message of hope was delivered 9 years after it had been sent in the ocean coming upstream into a river. And I can imagine God's explanation to the angels. This last one will be a Christmas present, much like the first one I delivered to hopeless humans some 2,000 years ago. Coke bottles were transferred into hope bottles. 3 of the 4 bottles, or 4 verses in the bottle, were about hope. Interesting. The bottles didn't contain any verses regarding power, miracles, or even provision, all of which this lady desperately needed. Why? Because those things are produced after we hope. The demoralizing power of hopelessness paralyzes the soul. Hopeless hearts cannot reach out in faith. Some years ago, I was sharing the gospel with a number of people, and this came to me out of Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. It says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen." And God highlighted a couple of things for me in that. He said, you can't have faith if you don't have hope. Hope is the essential building block for faith. I know there's a lot going on around us that would cause one to maybe feel a little bit hopeless, but take heart. God always brings hope. With God, there is always hope. God bless you. I hope this helps you. I really do hope so.